Located in Kings Canyon National Park, the Kings Canyon Scenic Byway is one of the best scenic drives in California. This scenic drive is 50 miles long, traversing through gorgeous canyons with beautiful waterfalls and many interesting stops along the way. Our first stop is just inside the park, and it is the Big Stump Trail. This trail is beautiful, and it's also beginner friendly with an overall distance of 2 miles and an elevation gain of 193 feet. Along the trail, you'll be treated to tons of lush vegetation, gigantic sequoia trees, and very interesting stumps from the sequoias that are no longer with us. The most famous of which is the Mark Twain stump that you can see right here, and it is over 16 feet in diameter. From the Big Stump Trail, we will be making the short drive over to the Grant Grove Village. And if you're staying on this side of the park like we were, this spot is great because it has tons of amenities. It has a post office and a market if you're in need of supplies for camping, and I must say they have a pretty good selection here. In addition to the post office and the market, they also have a restaurant here which has some pretty good food, as well as a gift shop and the actual visitor center. If you like learning about the environment and picking up some random facts along the way, this visitor center is a must stop. In addition to tons of exhibits, they also have a movie theater here that plays a looping film about Kings Canyon National Park. They also have a miniature model of the canyon, and just in case you are out on the hiking trail and you come across some poop, they have this exhibit here so you can see what kind of animal was just there. Speaking of the trails, that's our next stop because we are heading over to the General Grant Tree Trail. This one is almost hard to consider a hike because it's only 0.7 of a mile long with 32 feet of elevation gain. But the trail will take you to several really cool tree tunnels and also to the second largest tree in the entire world. And here we have the General Grant tree, which stands a very impressive 268 feet tall. If you have mobility issues, you can take shorter trails to the tree and back, but this entire area is really neat to explore. If you are spending several days in the park, you should plan to spend at least one of the sunsets at the McGee Vista Point. Not only did we see deer here, but the view from the point stretches way off into the distance, and it makes for a great sunset spot. Next up on our list is Hom Lake. Just a little word of warning on this one, if you get sketched out driving along cliffs, this one could be a little bit challenging for you. But if you can overcome that fear, this lake is well worth it. We came here to do the hiking trail, which is 2.9 miles long with 150 feet of elevation gain. But if you don't feel like putting in the miles, you can just soak in all of the history and beauty of this lake. And this lake is also a great spot for water sports, and it really made us wish that we brought our kayaks with us. One of our favorite parts of the Hom Lake Trail had to be the wooden boardwalk that went along the backside of the lake. From Hom Lake, we will be dropping down into Kings Canyon, and let me tell you, this drive is spectacular. Along the road, there are tons of turnouts and viewpoints, and all of them are beautiful and worth stopping if you have time. Something that is really important to know if you plan on driving down into the canyon is to have plenty of gas. The only gas station in the entire park is located at Hom Lake. So if you drive down into the canyon low on fuel, you might not make it back out. And another thing to take note of is that the road down into the canyon is closed during the winter, so this is more of a summertime activity. If you're curious whether this road is open or not, you can always check the park's website. The drive down into the canyon continues to get prettier and prettier the further that you go. At this point, you'll have a sheer rock wall on the right side of the road and the view of the Kings River on the left side. In total, you'll be dropping about 2,500 feet into the canyon. And as you get closer and closer to the bottom, you will get a much grander appreciation for the true scale of this canyon. If you really want to get the full effect of this drive, we highly recommend doing it close to sunset. The warm colors take the already beautiful scenery and ramp it up to a whole new level. Almost as soon as you reach the bottom of the canyon, you will come to the next spot on our list, which is the Boon Cave. We highly recommend stopping here and taking the tour. Even though this cave is not anywhere near as massive as places like Carlsbad Caverns, this cave is still really neat. In addition to some really cool rock formations, this cave also has tons of neat history as well. But if you want to hear that, you're going to have to take the tour. One other great thing about the tour is that it only takes about an hour, so you will still have plenty of time to get out there either before or after and explore the park. Our next stop is just a short drive away, and it is Grizzly Falls. This is probably one of the easiest to access waterfalls in the park, and it's only about 100 yards off the main road. These falls stand a very impressive 80 feet tall, and this is a great spot to stop for lunch. If you are planning to make a quick trip here just to see the falls and take a couple pictures, this stop won't take long and you will be back on your way in about 10 minutes. About 4 miles down the road, you will see several different campgrounds. Most of these are first come first serve, so if you want a spot, you might need to get there early. This is also where you can find the Cedar Grove Visitor Center. In addition to all of that awesomeness, you will also find a nice store to get supplies here and a restaurant. This store seems like it might even be a little bit bigger than the one that we went to up the hill. And it also has tons of Kings Canyon swag and souvenirs. And as just a little bit of a pro tip, while you're in the store, you might want to buy some tokens for the showers, because this is where you will find the only hot showers in the entire park. The next stop on our list is Knapp's Cabin. While this spot may not blow your mind, if you have 5 minutes to spare, it is cool to see this cabin that was built way back in 1925. I'm not exactly sure if the park has done anything to preserve the cabin, but if not, George Owen Knapp did a great job because it still looks great to this day. While it may be lacking in the amenities department, it does have one heck of a view, and I wouldn't mind staying there. This stop is definitely optional, and if you are short on time, I might skip it and instead head straight to our next stop, which is Roaring River Falls. There are 2 ways to get to see the falls. Both are very short, but one is just a little bit more rugged, which you can see right here. This one will take you to a higher vantage point of the falls, but you won't be able to get anywhere near as close. The other route is about 3/10 of a mile long, but it is completely paved. This route also has a much nicer parking area. Even though these falls are only about 20 feet tall, they do put out a pretty impressive amount of water. And believe it or not, this isn't even when it is at max flow. For the effort involved, this one is definitely worth stopping by to see. There are bigger falls, but they do take a little bit more effort. Next up, we will be heading over to Zumalt Meadow. This trail used to be a loop trail, but unfortunately some bad weather washed most of it away. There is, however, still plenty to see out here. This spot is packed full of wildlife, and you can expect to see marmot, deer, bears, and more here. On our visit, we heard a bald eagle, but he was tucked way up in the trees. These large granite boulders are another neat feature of this trail, and it's really cool to hike between all of them. From here, we will be heading all the way to the road's end. The cool thing is that this single parking lot shares two neat activities that we highly recommend visiting if you're going to be in Kings Canyon. The first stop at Road's End is the Muir Rock swimming hole. I will say that the water here is pretty dang cold, but if you're visiting on a hot day, it might be refreshing. Even if you don't go all the way in the water, this is a nice place to relax and hang out. But if you do feel like going for a dip, there is Muir Rock, which is a great little spot to jump off. The other activity to do at Road's End is the Mist Falls Trail. This is one of our favorite hikes in the park. But just a word of warning, the bugs can get quite rambunctious here, so it would be a great idea to pack a head net. After some absolutely spectacular scenery, you will end up at Mist Falls, which is one of the tallest falls in all of Kings Canyon National Park. And with that, our video about our drive along the Kings Canyon Scenic Byway has come to a close. What do you think? Did we miss anything on this list? If so, let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because that really helps out the channel. If you have suggestions for future videos, let us know. And for all the information about the Scenic Byway, as well as other awesome Kings Canyon National Park adventures, head on over to 𝐿𝑖𝐍𝐅𝐎.com.